صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, let me speak of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji and Maulana Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi, a comparative study in communal harmony and national integration. We know well Pandit Malviya ji was a freedom fighter, an educationist, a social reformer, a rightist, human rights activist, as well as an Hindu Orthodox leader, both in the politics as well as in the religion. But as C.F. Andrews, the contemporary historian of 19th-20th century India, has defined that in the contemporary Hindu leaders of India, no leader may be equated with Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji, in the sense that he was really a religious leader. He was opposed to the national leaders who claimed to be very religious, who claimed to sacrifice even their lives in the way of religion. But when they ask about the religious performances, they are silent. They have no option except to be silent. At the same time, being a Hindu Orthodox religious leader, his patriotism, his role in the nation building, his role in the communal harmony is also historic, as Andrews himself has recognized. The same position is Maulana Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi Rahmatullah Alayh. Maulana Maududi, born in 1903 and died in 1979. The most authoritative scholar of Islamism in the contemporary Muslim world, whose influences on the Muslim world may not be parallel to any other leader and intellectual of the Arab world except Sayyid Qutb of Egypt. But it is very interesting to note that Maulana Maududi, in his earlier age of reformation, that is when he was only 16 years of age, arranged and composed a full-fledged treatise on the life and achievements of Mahatma Gandhi ji, and the next on the life and thoughts of Pandit Malviya ji. These two books were written by Maulana Maududi earlier in 1900, in the age of 16. He himself has admitted that his book on Gandhiji was confiscated by the British government. But the book on Pandit Malviya ji, as titled in Urdu language, Honorable Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya of Allahabad, Halat-e Zindagi, published from Jabalpur in Urdu in 1919. This was the first Urdu writing on the life and thoughts of Malviya ji, and perhaps the first record of Indian National Congress in Urdu. It is not only a life and thought of Malviya ji, but it is a cursory, casual history of the then Indian National Congress also. Maulana Maududi, in his book on Pandit Malviya, has emphasized the three very important features of the life and thoughts of Malaviya, Pandit Malaviya. One, the religious orthodoxy of Pandit Malaviya ji. Maulana Maududi is proud of and is appreciating fully the adherence of Malaviya ji to the religion and provides justification for his orthodoxy. He says, Malaviya ji was opposed to the leaders who claim of being champion of religion. But when some basic tenets of religion are to be performed, they became deaf and dumb. Malaviya ji was openly, publicly a religious leader. And he was of the view, as Maulana Maududi has claimed, that being a religious man doesn't mean being an anti-national. Malaviya ji again and again emphasizes that one who adheres to the tenets of his religion more and more, he may play a role, very positive role in the construction of the nation and the building of the country more and more. This was the view expressed by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad also. Maulana Azad has discussed religion as a Ruhul Quds, the Holy Spirit. Ruhul Quds, the Holy Spirit, that inspires a man to go ahead for the development of the country. In that age, Maulana Maududi appreciates, supports, and inspires from the orthodoxy, religious orthodoxy of Pandit Malaviya ji. And he says, let me quote one in Urdu. पंडित मालविया में एक बहुत पसंदीदा बात यह है कि मौजूदा मुहक्किकान राह बातिल की तरह वो अपने मज़हब से बरगश्ता नहीं और वो अपने काम के औकात में से एक हिस्सा मजहबी अरकान अदा करने के लिए निकाल लेते हैं। उनकी मिसाल उन लोगों की मिसाल नहीं है कि दर्द कौम तो ज़ाहिर करते हैं, मज़हब पर जान देने और दीनी लाज पर क़ुरबान होने की धमकी देते हैं, लेकिन जिस वक्त मजहबी इबादत के मुताल्लिक सवाल किया जाता है तो उसका जवाब उनके पास खामोशी के सिवा कुछ नहीं होता। ऐसे वाहियात और जलील कैरेक्टर के लोग मालविया जी को मुतासिब, तंग नज़र और मुल्की तरक्की की राह को मसदूद करने वाला शख्स समझते हैं। लेकिन अगर मज़हब की पाबंदी ही तासुब और तंग नज़री है और आबा व अजदाद के मज़हब पर अक़ीदत रखना मुल्की तरक्की को मसदूद कर देता है तो खुदारा मुझे भी मुतासिबों और मुल्क के बदखाहों में शामिल करो। He openly says that if religion, following a specific religion, means to be not a well-wisher of the country, to be anti-national, then okay, by God, I am to be accounted among those who follow a specific religion. And he appreciates and supports Malaviya ji. Second point that has been highlighted in detail in that book by Maulana Maududi is the issue of people's representation in British councils. He has written that Malaviya ji was one of the few leaders, Indian leaders, who delivered lectures again and again in the different sessions of Indian National Congress and emphasized the people's participation in the council. To him, Malaviya ji was of the opinion that these Khan Bahadur Sahab and Rai Sahab, they may not represent the people. They have no courage to represent the nation's interest. Only those people who are from the non-government sector, they may represent the government, they may represent the people, they may represent the interests of the nation as well. Maulana Maududi has cited the lecture delivered by Malaviya ji in 1886, 1887, 1889, 1891 and 1904. Long pieces from those speeches have been cited by Maulana Maududi in his book. If you allow me, I may quote in Urdu. Maulana Maududi says, खान साहब और राय साहब कभी मुल्क के दर्दमंद नहीं हो सकते। हम उन पर ये इल्ज़ाम नहीं लगाते कि वो ज़मीर फ़रोशी करते हैं। हमें अफसोस तो इस बात का है कि उनका ज़मीर भी वो है जिसमें उनके ख़िताब की हिफाजत हो सके, उनकी एजाज़ी कुर्सी का इस्तेहक़ाक़ कायम रहे और वो अपना रास्त चुप भी बनाए रखें। हकीकत में गैर सरकारी मेंबरों से ही ये उम्मीद हो सकती है कि वो कौंसिल में वो कहें जो हिंदुस्तान कहता है, वो आवाज़ बुलंद करें जो 31 करोड़ हिंदुस्तानियों की है। हिंदुस्तान को ममनून होना चाहिए उन लोगों का जिन्होंने अपनी पूरी कोशिश इस काम में सर्फ कर दी कि कौंसिल में गैर सरकारी मेंबर ज़रूर शरीक हों ताकि पब्लिक फीलिंग की तर्जुमानी हो सके। उन्हीं लोगों में पंडित मदन मोहन मालविया भी काबिल सद मशकूरी हैं। द थर्ड पॉइंट raised by Maulana Maududi in the context of Malaviya ji's thought and contribution is his emphasis upon learning the higher education. Being an educationist, Pandit ji emphasized from the very beginning that Indians are fully entitled to learn industrial education, modern education, technological education like others. Malaviya ji emphasized this especially in the 1904 Indian National Congress session. Citing a number of pieces from Malaviya ji's speeches, Maulana Maududi in the last appreciates Malaviya ji's thought on education and he says, let me cite, ये ख्यालात मालूम करने के बाद क्या कोई इस बात पर ताज्जुब कर सकता है कि आज से 25 साल पहले पंडित मालविया के दिमाग में हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी का ख्याल आया था। हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी बनी और इस तरह बनी कि हमारे फ़लसफ़ा कसरत व क़िल्लत के माहिरीन देखते रह गए। इसके मुअय्यिद और उसके मुहर्रिक पंडित मालविया और उन जैसे उलुल अज़्म हज़रात थे। These three very important glaring features of the thought of Pandit Malaviya ji was highlighted by Maulana Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi, the pioneer of Islamism in the Muslim world. This was not a compromise made by Maududi on the cost of religion. It was basically in fully consonance with the revelation of the Holy Quran. The Quran that declared in the chapter Al-Mumtahina, chapter number 60, verse number 8, the Holy Quran says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Those who are peace living, they must be treated gently and kindly. This is the gist of the Holy Quran that was implemented by Maulana Maududi from the earlier period when he was pro-Congress. This is the time to see what were the factors that were responsible to convert Maulana Maududi from pro-Congress leader into anti-Congress leader, an Islamist leader. And what was the factor that led to Malaviya ji to establish Hindu Mahasabha in 1906. Interestingly, Maulana Maududi also established Jamaat-e-Islami in 1941. So what are those factors responsible to convert these national stalwarts into adherents of a specific ideology? It is to be discussed. In the last, let me recite a couplet from Urdu poetry. It is from Azhar Inayati from Rampur. He says, पुराने वक्त में भी दुश्मनी थी, पुराने वक्त में भी दुश्मनी थी, मगर माहौल जहरीला नहीं था. And perhaps the message of my presentation is that उनका जो काम है वो अहले सियासत जाने. मेरा पैगाम मोहब्बत है जहाँ तक पहुँचे. Thank you so much.